Welcome to the channel today. Look at all these white cockatoos. Okay, this is the first day out on the 390 adventure bike for quite a while. And the main reason for it today is to do that test between it and the Interceptor. So we're going to do a round town run and then out along the road. My service light is flashing. I haven't been out to get the first service on the bike now. It's pushing nearly 1100 kilometres. The main reason for that is they have not been able to get me the 14 tooth sprocket I was going to buy. So there's been a delay of something like, he said, 4 weeks before that's going to be here. So meanwhile I'm thinking of buying, in fact I'll talk to him Monday about it, I might buy a set of Bridgestone, I think they're AX41 Adventure Cross tyres, so when I put it in for the service I might actually go for a set of those tyres and let them fit that too while they're at it. So had a look online, they're not cheap, I think they're roughly about $400 a set, so they don't give them away. But from what I've read, they're pretty good tyres. So that may be something that when I contact the dealer tomorrow, I'll put in an order for a set of those and make it worthwhile and get both at once. So that's what's going to happen. This bike really swings nice around these roundabouts. As a rule I don't really ride these bikes much in town at all, but today's a bit of an exception and I'm going to compare it to the Interceptor to go on a ride around town. You notice the bike's a little bit higher off the ground compared to the other bike in question. When you hit that accelerator or hit the throttle, and it can move along quite well in those lower gears. It's got a nice bit of punch, you know, if you want to really get into it. It's a really cold day here today, and unfortunately I never brought the gloves. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to go for a run around here. The bike itself is a really nice handler in these lower speeds too, so you can see the potholes coming up, move the bike around easy because of that low weight. They mentioned it's that cold I end up buying a heated vest, and I've got that on now, got it on medium, and I can feel it warming up now and it's coming along quite good on that line. So, and I think I'll need that when I get out along the road because snow's predicted in the next couple of days. This bike comes into its own at around that 4,000 rev mark. At times if you're not in the right gear it's a bit, you know, like you've heard it many times, dead in that area. But after it gets out of that, it's good. I don't mind the riding position. I was thinking of if I could get bar risers to whip it up another inch or so on 5'9", weigh about 75, 78 kilos. I like the instrumentation on this particular bike. It's very easy to read the digital speedo, and what I like most about it is the gear selector, because since it's a bit of a high revving bike you can always look down and see what gear you're in, and you know exactly. I think this would be a good bike for it'd be not a bad for somebody just getting their learners. And I think it'd be alright for a guy coming back in after a bit of a break on bikes for a while and might want to have a crack at one of these particular bikes, or you know, just to try a bit of a cheapie before he decides to splash the cash and go a bit dearer. Or he might not want to go dearer than that, you know, it might be just happy for what it is. So far with 1100 Ks on the clock, I've been pretty happy with how the bike's performed. Is it a better bike than a Interceptor? Well, the Interceptor's more an old world charm type of bike, so that's something that, you know, like if you're after that style of bike, it's very hard to compare it to this bike. It's more, I class as old school, where it dropped back to a 50-year-old looking bike with a bit of new technology thrown in. So if you can live with that side of it, you know, and treat it like that, I reckon Interceptor's more like a good overall bike for running down to the local coffee shop, or just go out for 200 kilometre burst, where this bike will do, I feel, wherever you want to go. And it's loaded with a huge amount of rider's aids or safety technology, so, you know, when you look at it that way, there's plenty of safety pluses on board, but long term I don't know how reliable the safety goodies are, so that'd be something that time would tell in that respect. So if you're thinking about buying one of these 2020 Adventures bikes, which come in at around about 9,000 Australian dollars, a few specs on the bike. So first off, I've put up around about 1100 kilometres on the bike, so I've got a rough idea how it goes. So with this particular bike, you get a 19-inch front wheel, 17-inch rear, running on Continental tyres. So you've got a water-cooled motor there of 373 cc's, putting out 41 horsepower. And the 41 horsepower, all the power is really running from 4,000 revs onwards, a little bit dead down under that 4,000 rev mark. That if you're first time to the channel, I've got a 14.2 sprocket on order, which hopefully may help that in that area and give it a little bit more usability. It's loaded with a lot of electronic aids, ride-by-wire, traction control, which is switchable. So if you're out here on the dirt, you can actually switch it off. One problem I found with the traction control is that if you're going along and you stall the bike or you turn the bike off, so it doesn't hold what's set in your head. If by chance you turn the bike off during, like a cycle in this paddock now, if I'm running around with traction off and turn the bike off, when I turn the bike back on, or if I happen to stall it in here, it's got back to traction control totally on it. But LED headlight, LED tail light. It's got a seat height of 855mm, which looks a bit high when you see the bike sitting here like that, but after a while you get used to that. And it's really no drama on seat height. I don't have any trouble really getting on this bike compared to a previous bike I had a couple of years back with a Honda CRF 250 Rally, which was a bit of a struggle to get on. It's got a fairly big fuel tank, 14.5 litres. The only drawback with that fuel tank is the fuel gauge on this particular bike isn't what I call accurate, and of about 4.5 litres. The tank light comes on to indicate that you're low on fuel, and you know, you've actually got a fair bit in there to get you out of trouble. The ride quality is pretty good on the bike too. I think it's a little bit on the stiff side, more so like the seat, you know, it's a bit of a firm seat when you press down on it, but I find the seat quite comfortable. So overall we're going to put this bike against the 650 Interceptor, and I'm going to do a ride of both bikes side by side. You might notice on this 390 Adventure bike, it's got the nice curved radiator at the front, and it's also running dual fans. Now if you go to stand up on the bike, even for my height, I still have to lean over to grab the handlebars, so I suppose from that point of view, you know, bar risers would be a good investment. I don't think they're out at the moment, but if you look here, it's got like almost like a bar riser set up there at the moment, so you would have to wait till a higher version comes out. But overall, you know, it's a very smart bike, and it's a good comparison between this 390 Adventure, and we'll bring out the 650 Interceptor later and see what you think of that one too. The brakes on this particular one, got a big front disc on them, and they're Vibri. I find the ABS braking system on this bike really good, and they really stop you and bring you down really fast from high speed, or you know, anything over 100 kilometres an hour that can bring you down really quick. I don't know about if you do multiple high speed runs, like if you're up higher in a speed range and had to do it, may not be the same there, but at this stage, any time I've had to use them, they've been really good to hit the brakes and bring you down, so they do work, and they work well. Like I said, the mirrors, you can see out of those quite well. There's no virtually any vibration out of that, and I think for what you get and how much you pay for this bike, the standard suspension's not bad. And if you look how rough it is now, where I come through here, I really don't think I'll bring the Interceptor in here just to prove a point that it can come off-road. I had plans on bringing the Interceptor in and just run it up against, just to show it could do it. But looking at this place now, I don't think I'll risk it. I think it's too good a bike to bring it in here, and I think I'll just leave it where it is. But anyway, that's a rough idea what it's like on this bike, and as a comparison.